Welcome to Metro TV, and this is Good Afternoon Ghana. We're back from the weekend. How was your weekend? I had a pretty good one. Today's the 8th day of December 2025. We're back here to discuss pertinent issues that bother our country, and that's definitely what we'll be doing here from now to 2 p.m. So do want to stick and stay with us here on the show. My name is Desmond Okreku-Danso, and I'm here, making sure that we have all the conversations this afternoon. Coming up on the show today, the conversations about the Scholarship Secretariat. Over the past week, we've seen a number of banters from the current High Commissioner to the UK, Madam Zita Benson, and also the former the former Registrar of the Scholarship Secretariat, that is Dr. Kingsley Agyeman, on what exactly the issues are. We understand that some students are at a risk of being expunged from the schools, and others will not be able to graduate. What exactly is the situation with the Scholarship Secretariat? How much are we owing? What exactly is the problem? We'll be engaging key stakeholders, including students who are studying in the UK, and of course we would engage Dr. Kingsley Agyeman also. And yesterday was 7th December. If you remember, exactly a year ago, you went to the polls, we went to the polls, and we voted. And the outcome of that was that the NPP government was kicked out, and the NDC government was brought in, led by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. 1 year on, are you satisfied? Are you seeing what exactly you voted for the NDC? Is that in motion already? That's what we'll be engaging also later on the show. So please do want to stay with us. We're live on Facebook at Metro TV Ghana, DSTV channel 277 on the multi-TV digital box, and also live on radio 94.1 FM. For now, Dominic and Surprise standing by to bring us the latest news updates. Dominic, good afternoon.
Dossie, good afternoon. You're looking sharp as always.
Thank you very much. Same as you. I remember 7th December where you were. I remember, of course, we were in studio, making sure that we had the work going on. Where did you go to? Which station?
So we were patrolling through the Adentan constituency and also Medina constituency, trying to make sure that everything is in place.
Right.
And we have a good process. And indeed, it appears that we had a good process.
Okay. Definitely. So that's it with Dominic giving us the update from last year where he was. For now, take us away.
Well, so headlines is up next. Well, December 7 marked a year after the elections 2024, which brought in John Dramani Mahama for a second term, will gauge reactions from political and governance experts on President Mahama's performance. And now Ghana's second president in the Fourth Republic, John Agyeku Nkufuor, has shared genuine thoughts on the erstwhile MPP administration's performance. The 87-year-old says their loss was a wake-up call on governance and accountability. And now also coming up on Good Afternoon Ghana, former Registrar of the Scholarship Secretariat, Dr. Kingsley Agyeman, denies allegations of unpaid fees for students in the UK. We'll throw more light on developments. This and many other more coming your way in 30 minutes. Do stay. We'll be right back. And now, let's take our first story in commemoration of 1 year after the 2024 general elections. Press Secretary and spokesperson to the Vice President of Ghana, Mame Amaprat, recounts her experiences, stating that she was actually shocked by the margin of win for the NDC. Member of the NPP's communication team, Ella Amadaku, equally recounted her own heartbreak on the 7th of December 2024. They spoke on Good Morning Ghana.
People's unadulterated joy whenever the team showed up somewhere, you know, the expressions of hope. The NDC seemed like the hope, you know, there was no confusion in my mind where the election was going.
So you were not tensed?
No.
You were calm?
Very calm. Very
You knew
happy.
the NDC would win the election.
The NDC was winning the election.
You're not too sure by what margin?
It's the margin that was shocking for me. It's the margin.
What was your prediction?
I knew that the NDC was winning. I didn't suspect the margin.
So you thought that the difference was going to be marginal? You didn't think it was going to be that big?
I didn't think that far. Let me be honest.
Okay.
I did
All
not.
you wanted was a win.
That's it. I did not think that far. I didn't, bother myself with, what's the percentage going to. I just knew that the NDC was winning. It's when the results started coming in, I was like, wow. But also because of my experience with the 2020 election, and being just as hopeful in 2020 that the NDC could win, and the disappointment of 2020, because I remember that in 2020, I actually went to Cape Coast that day, I think to deliver a note or something in Cape Coast that day, and then I came back to Accra. So 2024, no doubt in my mind. But my reflection of the day, my reflection of the year on, is just that to whom much is given, much is expected. Ghanaians spoke very, 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 very loudly. Loudly, clearly, unequivocally. Like, this is what we want, right? It was a rejection of the NPP, forgive me, just as much as it was an endorsement of the NDC. It's both.
I had booking heart, palpitations of the heart. I remember my sons coming over and Kweku was like, Mommy, it looks like Dr. Baumia is loose. I was like, Kweku, if you don't get out of my room. And then here was my boss conceding defeat. He didn't even allow all of us who had gone home to come back. And I believe that at that particular moment when I saw him concede, I was like, oh, okay, so it means all the results or whatever results we had was enough for him to know that it wasn't going to work well. And he felt that it is good he concedes. And for me, I think that's one of the best things he did to us as a group. I was getting the pressure right from my house. Then I think I slept a bit. Then the phone call started waking me up, around 12 midnight. And then the notifications on the platforms. And I just went to check and I was like, hey, Radin Yankopon, back to sleep. The sleep wasn't coming. I had to go and take a hot bath. I wasn't okay. In fact, it was a terrible evening for me.
Well, again, speaking on Good Morning Ghana, Press Secretary and spokesperson to the Vice President of Ghana, Mame Amaprat, accused the NPP of not listening to former President Kufuor during the tenure of President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. On the other hand, the member of the NPP's communication team, Ella Ama, rebutted, stating that former President never mentioned not being listening to. This follows an interview granted on Delay Show with Dolores Frimpong Manso, also known as Delay. Here are reactions on Metro TV's flagship Good Morning Ghana program.
I'm surprised that in his own home, within his own party, he had views that were not, sought, and he's right. You won the election based on his record. It was him before you. Whatever gains or whatever achievements you trumpeted to win the election was his. So I'm surprised, that our former president had all of these concerns, had all of these valid concerns, valid opinions, and yet nobody within the NPP structure thought fit to hear him. At the very, least, if you wouldn't even include him in your decision-making process, at least hear him out, because he has been there before, he has some experience that there's always something to be said for experience. There's always something to be said for experience. You might have all the knowledge in the world, but when it comes to experience, it's crucial, I hope that the NPP will listen, if they won't listen to the masses, if they won't listen to the NDC, if they won't listen to the average Ghanaian, at least they can listen to former President Kufuor.
He never said that he was not granted access to them. He said he didn't understand and he didn't agree. And every one of us is entitled to our opinion. As I said, he's had his time as president. That time was Nana Akufo-Addo's time. And he never did President Kufuor say that he spoke to Nana Akufo-Addo and he wanted to speak to him or he wanted to share his views on things. And he did not get the opportunity to do it. He was not consulted, yes, that one, and maybe they could have consulted him. But as I said, he had done his time. Would he expect that President John Mahama would consult him on all issues? There are some issues I'm sure he will consult him if he feels so. But this is President Mahama's time. He's responsible for the decisions that he takes as his time as president. And when the NDC also had former presidents, the Atta Mills era and Jerry John Rawlings' era, and His Excellency Atta Mills was president, I don't think that he got up every morning and went to President Jerry John Rawlings to consult on all issues. There were times Papa J came out and said that there are things he also wanted to be done, but the NDC didn't do it. But then that is something that we should understand. That doesn't mean that there's a problem in the party. There's no problem. You cannot tell him when he should speak and when he shouldn't speak.
And our Ghana's second president in the Fourth Republic, John Agyekum Kufuor, has described the MPP's loss in the 2024 election was a wake-up call on governance and accountability. He attributed the defeat to specific policies and issues under the former Akufo-Addo administration, including the debt exchange program, the National Cathedral project, and the power distribution services. He also, however, emphasized the importance of unity within the MPP to ensure they can serve Ghanaians better in the future. Here are excerpts of an interview granted to Dolores Frimpong Manson, also known as Delay, on her show.
What we had 2016 election year, did Nana Bapon. Yeah, Nema used to do their campaign. Bibia na kofo yes na kofo yes positives nko.
Yeah.
Na power no ko di binum nsam na afei.
E na bibisa say nti omo ba ye na afei power ne ko di omo nsam wie no. Wo hwe amamu a MPP as a party ebu ya wa MPP party President Kufuor MPP.
Ne shase no nanka ekofan.
Okay.
Da fi binum se COVID. Tade bi hu bi e ba no ka ho na afei ba ho no Akasa Kufuor manage COVID no.
Okay.
Near me but no more actually no. And a near man be Casamity as an ameboa.
To say the
so it is a bond market issues nearby. To say cathedral. So near it's a kukuru no near dear no nafi antimianje.
Now, what can I say? Yes,
that be me consult me.
Okay, but the
cabinet. No answer will say Bibisa Coso.
But what you say, be see cathedral. Now, when I say a dear here now,
me patch out. One moon, UTS and your music, and them cast a big crowd privately no more day.
Okay.
And bomb to Makofa as a government and Saturday. But so, to me, see, yeah, but we are concerned public resources no more day.
Okay.
And Kobubu Banglos as judges near the team. But you ask, no, I didn't see intimacy.
And I didn't do.
And I be bit PDS, this way, Koba and this man.
Okay.
Until now, you be brave. But Mr. Namaka, Sabio, Marita, my Kokramity, Namishe. Until Sir Nadia Bakoswa, I say, Osha say 2016 landslide near the winning side election. Nearby power. Now, 2020 election, no tensions in Yamabiaba, and I feel about hang parliament here, NDC battery. It took just one vote, one seat in parliament to distinguish president when you majority, but now a reduced majority. Then 4 years later, last year election, anyway, not just a Ghana. Electorate, you cannot take
them for granted.
It for granted. Be a lesson to politicians.
So we said then that MPP ni betimi as a party, we betimi assign a general monaso.
Akuye.
Okay.
And my camp says my coach the Rocha, your chairman the Rocha, from 92 on. Or can I say that we are in a party doesn't mean we are friends. I may not like you, may not like me, but to be a party in the principles, no. Democracy, rule of law, respect for private sector, me pay ope. Until yan for cry, nam principles and said, badge my dear. Yan come home, name fancy Ghana for a person, man.
And now speaking at the Doha Forum in Qatar, Ghana's President John Dramani Mahama has issued an appeal to the world. He maintains overlapping crises like conflict and economic shocks, climate disasters and pandemics are destroying not just economies but childhoods. He urged global leaders to treat education as life-saving, not optional, especially for children uprooted by war, warning that without access to education, progress in poverty, health, equality and peace remains unreachable.
Our meeting here today is taking place in a world that is confronted with multiple overlapping crises, conflict, economic shocks, climate instability, pandemics, and growing social and economic inequalities. These crises do not only disrupt economies, they disrupt childhoods. They do not only destroy infrastructure, they destroy the dreams of our children. In such times, education must become the battleground for justice. Education is justice when it ensures that a child uprooted by conflict does not lose her dreams or her future. Education is justice when a child living with disability receives targeted support in order to thrive. Education is justice when learning continues despite pandemics, economic hardship, or climate disasters. Education is justice when young people are equipped to rebuild their communities and lead global transformation. In every crisis, education stands as the first line of protection, the most reliable social stabilizer, and the foundation on which long-term recovery can be built. And this is why education in emergencies must be seen as life-saving and not optional. Even in normal times, policymakers are always examining how to reform education to make it universally available and relevant in the context of a rapidly changing world. This demand is even more urgent in societies that are affected by war and dislocation. The disruption of education affecting a current generation of children in Gaza, in Afghanistan, Sudan, and elsewhere is an unfolding humanitarian tragedy that will play out for decades to come. Over the past decades, we in Ghana have pursued bold reforms to expand opportunity, strengthen justice through education. For example, our free basic secondary education have enabled millions of Ghanaian youth to access education regardless of their family income. Without education, we cannot end poverty, which is SDG 1. Without education, we cannot achieve good health and well-being, which is SDG 3. Without education, we cannot attain gender equality, which is SDG 5. Without education, we cannot build decent work and economic growth, which is SDG 8. Without education, we cannot strengthen climate adaptation, which is SDG 13. And without education, we cannot secure peace, justice, and strong institutions, which is SDG 16. Education illuminates the path to every other goal. Education must be transformational, not transactional. It must be equitable, not exclusive. It must be forward-looking and not outdated. This is the justice we owe our children.
And our President John Dramani Mahama is in Abidjan to join leaders from across the continent for the inauguration of Ivorian President Alassane Ouattara. The ceremony taking place at a presidential palace follows President Ouattara's re-election with 89.77% of the vote and is considered a major diplomatic event in the region. Security has been heightened across Abidjan as several African heads of state and international dignitaries arrive for the investiture. President Mahama's presence highlights the strong ties between Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire, particularly in the areas of trade, security, cooperation, and regional integration. The inauguration is also expected to set the tone for President Ouattara's new mandate, outlining the priorities that will shape Ivory Coast's political and economic direction in the coming years. And now moving on to do some other story, the Ghana Education Service has directed the headmaster of Dodje Penyi Senior High School in the Volta region to step aside following allegations of sexual misconduct involving some female students. The GES says the move is necessary to protect the integrity of an ongoing investigation. Ace Moore in his report.
The Ghana Education Service has ordered the headmaster of Dodje Penyi Senior High School in the Ketu North municipality to temporarily step aside over allegations of sexual misconduct involving female students of the school. The directive, issued on December 6, 2025, forms part of measures to ensure a transparent and interference-free investigation. According to the GES statement, the interdiction is necessary to guarantee the integrity of the investigative process and to avoid any perceived interference as authorities begin probing the allegations. The headmaster has been instructed to immediately hand over all official duties, responsibilities, records, and any school property under his custody to the Municipal Director of Education for Ketu North. He's expected to vacate the school premises today after completing the handover. Despite being asked to step aside, the GES says he must remain available at all times to assist investigators. The service emphasized that the directive is purely administrative and does not constitute a presumption of guilt. Meanwhile, the Municipal Director of Education for Ketu North has been asked to take charge of the administration and management of Dodje Penyi Senior High School until further notice.
Right, so moving on to this matter stories, the Vice President, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, has called on newly qualified doctors of the Accra College of Medicine to serve with integrity. She admonished them to prioritize the duty they have chosen over personal convenience. The Vice President was speaking at the 6th Congregation and 10th Anniversary Ceremony of the Accra College of Medicine.
Addressing the 6th Congregation and 10th Anniversary Celebration of the Accra College of Medicine, Professor Ifo Ahesi, President of the Accra College of Medicine, noted that 97% of the college's alumni were serving in hospitals and health institutions across Ghana. She highlighted the school's growth, saying 62% of its students' population is female, with investments in cutting-edge educational technologies such as the Anatomage 3D anatomy platform and Cyber Patients virtual simulation software.
We are graduating our biggest number this year, 23. Congratulations. And 13% of our graduating class earned distinctions, that is 80% plus, in at least one clinical discipline. And 65 earned credits, that is 70 to 79%, across 3 disciplines: medicine, surgery, and community health. Remember that your education does not end here. Medicine is a lifelong journey of learning, of humility, and of service.
Vice President Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman underscored the need for young doctors to approach their careers with empathy, professionalism, and a strong sense of national duty. She emphasized that many parts of the country continue to struggle with inadequate access to healthcare and called on new graduates to help bridge those gaps.
Many of our communities still face serious gaps in healthcare access, and those best equipped to help must prioritize the duty they have chosen over personal convenience. You are entering a profession built on service, courage, and equity. Let your choices reflect not just your ambitions, but your commitment to the oath you have taken. That is, to go where suffering is, to heal where healing is scarce, and to honor the trust Ghana has placed in your hands. Remember that every patient you meet deserves your respect. Treat them with empathy. Carry the AGM values of integrity, leadership, innovation, passion, community service, and heart power as your guide.
The ceremony marked a decade of Accra College of Medicine's contribution to strengthening Ghana's medical workforce and celebrated another cohort of doctors trained to deliver quality healthcare across the country.
And now the paramount chief of the Asin Renchi traditional area, Ehunabobrim Nana Pra Ejinsem, the Sith has admonished administrators and management consultants to exhibit high levels of integrity and professionalism to help accelerate the development of the country. The paramount chief cautioned the practitioners found guilty of misconduct could be sanctioned or debt by the institute's regulatory body. Ismail.
Paramount Chief was speaking at the 24th graduation and induction ceremony of the Chartered Institute of Administrators and Management Consultants Ghana, held on the theme, Developing Organizational and Employee Capacity for Peak Performance. The Paramount Chief reminded practitioners that professionalism was not a one-off achievement, but a daily commitment that demanded discipline, emotional balance, and continuous learning.
Practitioner found guilty by the board of misconduct may be suspended from practice or completely debarred by the removal of his or her name from the registrar of qualified practitioners. Therefore, we stand firm to inculcate into our members and practitioners continuing learning, technical competence, and practical experience and ethic discipline in the field of administration and management consultancy.
Dr. Samuel Mouse Yesafo is the Chief Executive Officer of the Institute.
Our focus is how do we make the administrator perform at its peak, not only in formulating the right policies, but also in supervising its implementation, and also appreciating the fact that the system is dynamic. So as the system changes, we need also to review our system. If we don't train our administrators in that focus, then we become people who only formulate policies to suit us, and then it cannot be implemented, and therefore performance in all situations at the end is at its worst.
The Chartered Institute of Administrators and Management Consultants Ghana is a professional body that offers professional licensing for consultants and administrators, among others.
Devastating fire that tore through the Dansoman market in Accra. Angry and frustrated traders are demanding urgent support and clarity on their future. The fire, which occurred at dawn on Wednesday, November 26, 2025, destroyed dozens of structures, wiped out livelihood investments, and tragically claimed the life of an 8-year-old girl who was trapped in one of the stores. Thanks more for this report.
At a press briefing with the media, spokesperson for the Dansoman Market Tailors, Dressmakers and Petty Traders Association, Reverend Eric Amo, said the victims feel abandoned despite early visits and assurances from authorities.
The reality is now dawning on us as to what is going to happen to us concerning what we do here. We've not had any, since then, we've not had any assurance from anywhere to tell us that whether this place is going to be rebuilt for us to continue our business or not. And then we all know that this is our season. We don't know where to turn to. We've been waiting. Today is the 10th day since the incident happened.
Reverend Amos said there is a growing anxiety among traders who say the Christmas season is their busiest period, but slipping away, leaving them without work or income.
The assembly, we want to know what is the fate of the place. That is number one. Because we cannot be coming here every day and be going back without any nothing. We are in Christmas season, so please, we are appealing to the public. We are appealing to whosoever may be watching us that they should come to our aid, because we are totally down. Everything has been ravaged by fire. Not even a single pin that we've taken out.
Some traders also lamented over their plight, calling on the government for urgent intervention.
But yes, Ramo, Mumma baby, my near to me starting and then watching a ya. You try any a wobia. Yenya, and it does so be and free baby. So be able catch and so oh, and then watching a baba yamam.
Meanwhile, the presence of the MC for Ablekuma West, George Bakpo Alote, nearly escalated issues, but was quickly resolved. He assured traders that the government is committed to supporting them.
In no time, we'll make the reports public. And basically, we're saying that we are sympathizing with our women, and we want to assure them that government will come to their aid very, very, very soon. So we are just asking them to give us just a little patience. We'll definitely support them. So the Christmas won't be dry. Definitely they'll have something to celebrate the Christmas with. At the last week, we came in and gave them some relief items. So we are doing our best, and we want to assure them that definitely the Christmas will be nice.
For now, however, those whose stalls were burnt say hope is fading, and they are pleading with anyone who can help to step in before the situation worsens.
Well, that's where we draw the curtains and news update on Good Afternoon Ghana with me, Dominic Nana Kwame Nansapra. And we are channeling to Desi for the rest of the program. Desi, over to you.
Thank you very much, Dominic, for bringing us the news update there. Still watching Good Afternoon Ghana here on Metro TV. I mentioned before the news update that we have very important conversations coming up on the show. And so we're going to take a break. While we come back, we're looking at what is happening at the Scholarship Secretariat, especially between the former registrar, Dr. Kingsley Ajman, and the current High Commissioner to the UK, Her Excellency Saba Zita Benson, and the issues about some PhD students who have actually petitioned the UK Prime Minister about some of the issues that they are facing with the Scholarship Secretariat. So we'll do that. We're taking a break. When we come back, we get into the details of that. Stay with us.
Uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame. As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, Mommy.
I'm the second coming. Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again?
Now I understand the whole delay. Troll from Kaswa dear. Why wouldn't he be late? Or be late?
Of course.
Star 712 hash, star 712 hash. You go be the luckiest. Kofi from Georgia be luckiest. From not the cause she be luckiest. Yeah, you go be luckiest. No matter why you're luckiest. Everybody go be the luckiest.
That's Kwame!
Send your God up boom. If you put it toye, so would the coming of the Son of Man be. Is that his car?
Ha! Even now, your shadow the way designer.
I use my own mouth to reject him. Oh, this is my mouth. Look at that.
Kwame, my son. Now, tell me the truth. How did this all happen?
Oh, Mommy, simple direction. Mr. Goodluck no check me way.
Yeah,
man.
Easy car. Or dial star 712 hash.
The devil is a liar.
He picked his ticket and entered his lucky 5-digit number.
How much birthday?
Oh, how romantic!
And he followed the prompt, yes. And then boom, confirmation test.
One quick, pick 5 numbers for me, okay? I'm feeling like 7.
Dial star 712 hash. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompt and let destiny handle the
You see how they love you now?
Yo, do you have family payment? Before December, may release a motivational album. Patapa, my super.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
Dear Santa, all I want this holiday
is special family time.
Whenever you come around family, you can find love.
To go on an adventure.
Tickets to every game. Some giggles.
And a puppy.
Let's go!
Yippee!
This holiday, simply stay connected and get all you want on DSTV, your home of entertainment.
Right, welcome back from the break. You're still watching Good Afternoon Ghana here on Metro TV. I am Desmond Okreko. We're live on Facebook. You can join us on Facebook, Metro TV Ghana. Also on DSTV, channel 277 on the multi-TV Digibox. And also you can listen to us live on radio, actually, on 94.1 FM. I mentioned that today we're having a conversation about the Scholarship Secretariat. And a couple of weeks back, right into last week, we've had a number of, banters and accusations, from the UK High Commission or the Commissioner and the former Registrar of the Scholarship Secretariat. Now, so there is an issue about the monies that are supposed to be paid to students in the UK. That includes master's degree students, PhD cohorts in the UK. Now, the Commissioner to the UK, Mrs. Samba Zita Benson, has linked the current challenges facing the Ghanaian students in the UK, including threats of expulsion. I will tell you that some students are already facing that from some of the schools, and she has related that, or she's saying that that has become so because of the failure or alleged irregularities by the former Registrar of the Scholarship Secretariat, Dr. Kingsley Agyeman. However, last week in Parliament, Dr. Kingsley Agyeman refuted those claims and rather said that he came into office and met a lot of debts from the previous administration, and then the NPP government has cleared all of them. But of course, there are one or two things, but he's not. He's just trying to say that he's not responsible for any of the things that are happening in terms of the current situation with the students. So let's take a listen to them. And then when we come back, we're talking to, that is Prince Bansa. He's the president for the Ghana PhD cohorts in the UK. So for now, let's listen to Dr. Kingsley Agyeman.
For any nation to flourish, it depends on its human capital. It's for this reason that Ghana's first president was very right when he established the Scholarship Secretariat as an extra ministerial body to take care of the human capital development of our nation. And so has it been. I mean, fast forward, I took over the reins of power at the Scholarship Secretariat, opportunity given to me by His Excellency, the former president. The first day I entered the Secretariat, there was debt to be paid. There was debt to be paid, and that is the nature of the kind of debt or liabilities that the Secretariat is always confronted with. I met a debt of 230 million Ghana cedis then. If you pick the dollar, the exchange rate to the cedi, if you even put it at 4, you are talking of about $57 million. What did His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo do? Immediately, he called for how diplomatically we are going to deal with the payment of this debt. And we were able to run the place till when I left. It's very unfortunate that I've had Her Excellency, I don't know if it is even right to call her Excellency, Zita, the Ghana's High Commissioner to the United Kingdom. I mean, very undiplomatic about the kind of debt she said she has inherited. She announces that she's inherited 32 million pounds. So the whole, the hell should break loose. No, Madam, Your Excellency, you are a diplomat. You ought to know better. The scholarship liability or the scholarship debt is a continuous thing because of the financial year and the academic year. And the mere fact that most of the tuitions or the courses of study goes beyond the financial year. You have been in the executive before. You've been a minister of state before. So you should understand how these things run. Is that how you are going to discuss Ghana's liabilities in the United Kingdom? So if there's an issue with the Ministry of Trade, then you go this way. But let me set it very clear. I met a debt of 230 million Ghana cedis, about $57 million. And no child, no student was sent home. His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa, the NPP government ensured that every student was catered for, even including those that went to Hungary. A deal that Honorable, my colleague, Okudzato Ablakwa has signed. They went to that scholarship. Nana Addo insisted, the NPP government insisted that we go to sort them out. So I'm appealing to His Excellency the President. I mean, his appointees. And I'm very unapologetic about this. We have to exercise high levels of diplomacy in sorting out some of these issues. We did not inherit a surplus. We inherited a liability, $57 million. No Ghanaian child anywhere in the world came home. I mean, there are news that a lot of them have received notices to leave the country, to vacate the country. Most of them may be in their final years. The truth of the matter is that if these Ghanaian children leave the UK and come to Ghana, it does not negate the so-called debt that has been put there. Ghana will still have to pay. So I appeal to His Excellency. I know he's a very fine gentleman. He understands the issues better, and that he should come to the aid of these students. But again, it must be said, the ambassador or the high commissioner was highly out of order, and it's quite sad and troubling. We should exercise high levels of dexterity when we are dealing with matters of international nature. Investigations are delayed. She doesn't even understand why I'm still walking around. Investigations are ongoing, and she must understand how security agencies do their work. The question I want to put forward is that they are aware of a liability or a debt situation at the Scholarship Secretariat now. Are they awarding scholarships? I can say on authority that this year they have awarded scholarships. So what are they talking about? You have awarded scholarships. Whoever the registrar there is now is awarding scholarships. He's even engaging people. So what are they talking about? I mean, for us, I believe that we are building a nation. And it doesn't lie with her. She should, what can she do? She can't do anything. The law enforcement agencies are doing their work. And nobody's beyond investigations in this country. Who am I? Honorable Dr. Kinslager, am I beyond investigations? No. I'm aware the NIB is doing their work.
Right, so that's Dr. Kinslager, former registrar for the Scholarship Secretariat, detailing some of the things that he says he met at the Secretariat, including the debt, as he mentioned, and also, hitting back at Mrs. Sabazita Benson, who is Ghana's High Commissioner to the UK, on how she has gone about this whole issue. So let's listen to her also and what she had to say about the comments from Dr. Agyemang.
Is clear, so I do not know what Mr. Agyemang is refuting. In 2021, the academic year 2021-2022, there was a debt of £133,000. And then 2022-2023 academic year, there was a debt of £2.3 million. Then in 2023-2024, there was another debt of £18.6 million. Then in 2024-2025 academic year, he left a debt of £14.6 million, totaling £35.7 million. And this year, we have been unable to admit new students, but we have been able to at least pay off 3 million of the 35 million pounds that he left behind, which leaves a debt of 32 million pounds. So in fact, I don't know what Mr. Agyemang is refuting. And in his interview that I haven't listened to, but I've seen the story, he says that I am being undiplomatic by talking about it. There's nothing undiplomatic about the truth. The truth is only one, and the truth is that a debt of 35 million pounds was left behind by Mr. Agyemang and his people at the National Scholarship Secretariat. And this is causing a lot of hardship to students here in the UK. Mr. Agyemang's interview, he claims that there's normally a rollover from the Scholarship Secretariat because of budgeting issues, and that the academic year cannot be the same as the budget year. Well, if the academic year is not the same as the budget year, how come Mr. Agyemang left in 2021? There was a debt of 133. In 2022-2023 academic year, there was a debt of, he left a debt of 2.3. In 2023-2024, debt of 18 million. In 2024-2025, debt of 14 million. He obviously wasn't clearing these debts. So this is not just a debt coming from 2023-2024 that we are saying we will not pay. This is a debt that Mr. Agyemang accumulated over 5 years, from 2021 through to 2025. So what is he talking about?
So that's Samba Zita Benson, who is Ghana's High Commissioner to the UK, and responding to that interview by Dr. Kingsley Agyemang. But in all of this, the victims, or the ones who are suffering, I should say, are the students. And for now, we're going to be speaking to the president of the Ghana PhD cohort in the UK, that is Prince Komla Bansah, has joined us via Zoom to share with us what the situation is, to explain to us why they wrote a letter to the Prime Minister of the UK, and some of the other stories that he can share with us regarding the ordeal. Prince, good afternoon. Thank you very much for your time here on Good Afternoon Ghana.
Thank you very much, Dominic, for having me.
Prince, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm okay. Thank you very much. I've been following the conversation, and as you said rightly over there, the victims of this back and forth are the students, in the UK. At the moment, things are quite very, very at the tipping point for most of the students, because a lot of students have been written to by their universities, taken out of their courses. Some of them have also been notified by the Home Office, curtailing their visa, giving them 90 days to exit the country. Let me put on record that these are not matters that we haven't brought to the attention of the current management of the scholarship. The liaison officer has been in touch with me, and even I've assisted her in so many ways when she doesn't understand some of the things. Because I'm the president and I've been around for some time, I'm able to liaise with her. She's been a very fantastic administrator. I always think that give her a very high thumbs up, because she's always in touch, except that most of the decisions relating to payment of stipend and fees will have to come directly from Accra. So even though she's engaging, it's quite very difficult for her to act expeditiously to address the issues. Also, again, the registrar himself had also been in touch, but not very regularly. So that is where it appears the challenges, and also the responses that comes from the GSS, the Ghana Scholarship Secretariat, whenever issues of this nature comes up. That is what is pushing us to the closer to the wall. So it is not the intention of any student or any of the beneficiaries of the scholarship to bring some sort of embarrassment to the government, but these are things that we have explored various options. It does appear that things are not moving, and students continue to be jettisoned from their courses. Some of them are out of their accommodation because they have not been paid for over 48 months. And so they haven't gotten any stipend. And you can imagine coming to the UK, you don't know anybody, and then you haven't been paid for 48 months. So if you are doing a PhD course, and as you know, the minimum year allowance here in the UK is 4 years, and you can even go beyond that, because PhD is not one of event. And so most of the students have not received their stipend for a very, very long time. And so that should tell you that when we say 48 months, we are not saying that this government is necessarily the main contributor to the challenges. And we are looking for solution and how the issues be addressed.
Something, right? So for many of us who do not understand how the scholarship process works, take us through that. So if a student applies for the that is the scholarship, when the notice comes in, when is the money supposed to come in, and all of those, the arrangements with the schools, can you share that with us?
Right, thank you, and I appreciate that you asked that question, because that appears to be where even the problem is, and that is why there's a back and forth in terms of the debt. So I will explain this.
Right.
So, and a lot of people don't understand this, and so they try to trivialize the issue. So when you get the award letter from Accra, you do all the internal processes that allows you to apply for visa, and then you come to the UK. When you come to the UK, you are not paid the stipend or the school fees, because if they issue an award letter to you, how would the Ghana Scholarship Secretariat know that you have actually commenced the program? And that, of course, it means that you warrant your school fees warrant to be paid or your stipends warrant to be paid. So you have to come to the UK, do the registration, start your program, and the GSS has what we call the orientation, online orientation for the new starters. So a group has been created for each of these things. So when you finish with your registration, you submit your details to the Ghana Scholarship Secretariat, and then you start your program. So along the line, then the GSS, so originally, if you look at the award letters, students are supposed to receive their stipends every month. But there was an original arrangement which allows the GSS to pay the stipends quarterly. So every 4 months, the stipends are remitted to the student. Unfortunately, along the line, that hasn't been forthcoming. This is not the first time that these things have happened. The last year it happened. Some of our students were nearly withdrawn, but the former registrar actually spoke to the schools, and then they were able to give them some respite. And also the vice president at the time, we have petitioned him, and then he asked the finance minister to release some money, which was then used to pay some of the DC. Now, with the PhDs, when you start your course, we have something we call the AMR, which is the annual monetary review. Now, every school has its own AMR. Some of them is progress review. So every year you do this. So because the PhD is 4 years. Now, when you come to the UK, you are not given a scholarship award for covering the whole 4 years. Because the scholarship secretariat, in their wisdom, thinks that, no, some people may withdraw along the line. Some people may not also perform academically well. So what they do is that they give you just 1 year scholarship award.
Okay.
So when you are able to go through the first review process, which is yearly, then you will now request for a renewal letter. So the renewal letter comes almost the same as the original award letter, except that it will be written the renewal and the code will be different. So sometimes when you are not very careful and you want to compare 2021 and 2022 or 2023, the number of scholarships awarded, you may think that scholarships are being awarded simultaneously. No, some of them actually are renewal letters. So, and that, of course, if you issue a renewal letter, you have to pay, which is the next academic year. So the GSS also has their own internal mechanism, which has really helped. So they put together some professors from different places. Some of them are from the UK, some of them from Ghana. So we call it the progress review. So you meet them, you put together your performance at the school level, everything together, and then they'll come and ask you questions regarding your research, what you have done over the period. And then you use those details and then defend your academic progress. The GSS will then go back and do their own internal assessment of your performance. They'll write to you whether you are on the yellow line or you are on the green line, which means they give you a warning that you need to speed up. If you're on the green line, it means that you are clear to proceed. Then you will now fill a form, which then put in a request for the renewal letter. So a renewal letter is issued. So, for instance, if the debt for 2021 is £50 million, it's very likely that the debt for 2022 be £60 million, because, as you know, there's always a yearly increment in the fees.
Right.
So the debt cannot be stagnant. So that's where the problem is. So if you don't understand this nuance, you may think that the scholarship is being issued simultaneously. No, that is not how it is. Usually it is a renewal letter that normally brings it to that particular level. So briefly, this is how the structure is like for the PhDs. For the undergraduates, I think they also have this renewal thing just like us, except for the masters who have only just one term scholarship award issued to them for a particular year.
Right. Thank you very much for breaking that down for us. But again, I want to understand. So school starts at a certain point. At that point where the monies have not been released, what then happens? Is there communication with the school that monies will come in later, and so the school looks for it to, and then you can register and start academic work? And especially for those who are in the masters, who are doing their master's degree, so it's a one-year term, as you mentioned. So it means you've got to pay the fees once from the beginning, so you can continue with that. So if the monies don't come in, then it means that you cannot register, and you cannot even pay the debt, and you cannot graduate.
So absolutely. So there's always a fundamental problem there, and I see the point that Zita was trying to make, and I also see the point that the former registrar is also trying to make. It all boils down to the debt. But this is what normally happens. So when you start the course, you are not required to pay the school fees upfront because you are given a guaranteed letter. So the award letter is a financial guarantee letter from the government of Ghana stating that we are willing to sponsor this student for this particular academic year. So when you are doing your enrollment or registration, you use that scholarship letter as substitute for physical payment of the fees. So usually the students are able to register with the guarantee letter without. So subsequently, the university then will write to you and says that give you an invoice and says that your tuition fee payment is due. So you take that tuition fee invoice and email it to the Ghana Scholarship Secretariat.
Okay.
Then based on that money is remitted towards the school fees. Unfortunately, the payments have not been corresponding to the invoices that have been issued. So sometimes it becomes like a pile up, and then we are having the conversation regarding the debt itself. So you don't need to. So the GSS doesn't make payment upfront. What they do is that you have to register with the award letters. Now, the other issue also is that for the PhDs, because I spoke about the renewal letter, when you get a renewal letter, you are also able to again re-enroll for the next academic year, but the fee is still outstanding. So at a particular point, when the UK school recognize that, no, the fees are becoming, piling down, they will email you, and then when there's no response from the Ghana Scholarship Secretariat, they will then transfer the debt to the student account and then ask debt collectors to chase the student. After some time, obviously, the student doesn't even get his stipend payment. So how can he even get the money to pay? So what happens then is that the school then write to the student and says that based on the inactiveness of your sponsor to fulfill the financial guarantee, we are therefore suspending you from the course. So they block you, they block access to your portal. They also, the next step will be that they will withdraw you from the course. They'll write to you, and then when they withdraw you from the course, then they will then write to the Home Office, informing the Home Office that this student has defaulted in the school fees payment. He is sponsored or she is sponsored by the government of Ghana, but they have not paid the fees for over this period. And the rules of this country is that once that happens, the UKVI then write to the student and says, based on the evidence presented to us, we are satisfied that your visa should be curtailed, and in that matter, you have 90 days to leave the country. So that is what is happening now. So most students are getting those letters, and as I last couple of months, one of our students who is even a master's student is already deported. He's in Ghana. Even though the current registrar subsequently resolved the issue, but the payment of the money occurred on the same day that the visa curtailment was supposed to expire, so he has to exit the country. We have so many of our colleagues. I've sent you your colleague. I don't know if it's you, but I've sent you.
Yeah, yes. I'm Prince. I have the letter. Unfortunately, his name is Desmond. That's my name too.
Yes,
says that.
Yes. That's from RGU. Yes.
Says that this is to confirm that your withdrawal from the Doctor of Philosophy Aberdeen Business School in academic year 2025-2026 has been formalized. Your withdrawal date is recorded as 30 November 2025. So this is happening. How are they taking it? How are you coping? Are people doing other works? Are people trying to get other means to get the money? What's happening?
So the PhD program is very, very rigorous. There's no shortcut around it. You are working literally almost every day, almost every night, almost every weekend. So usually you are given a 20-hour allowance to work in the UK. But because that 20-hour, most of the companies required you to be a full-time worker. So you cannot breach that visa requirement. In any case, the 20-hour, even if you are lucky to even get that 20-hour to do somewhere, it cannot even pay your accommodation. So as I speak to you, a number of our students are actually evicted from their accommodation. I get called every now and then because I'm the president. They share this with me. Some of them have to be living on the food banks. In fact, we are in winter now. I can tell you on authority that some of them are even homeless. So they have to go and beg somewhere else. So that is the extent to which the situation have reached. And that is why we are appealing to the president to immediately and urgently intervene in these particular circumstances. We've done this several times. In my case, for instance, I was lucky the money that was released last year by the then vice president, my fee was paid, so I'm not in that particular category this time around. So, but, a lot more of students, have called me. They are sometimes the liaison officer is aware of the circumstances. And also, the last couple of weeks, the current registrar released 1.6 million to actually address part of the payment of the school fees. But that was woefully inadequate because we are talking about 3 categories of students here: undergraduates, masters, and PhDs. Now, what happens is that even that money, the payment that has gone through, so it was part payment for some people's school fees.
Prince,
So
have there been any...
payment,
Sorry, I just have to wrap up on this, but I'm asking, have there been any assurances from the High Commissioner, the new registrar, as to when exactly this has been? No, December 3rd, you petitioned the UK PM and all that. Have there been any assurances? Do you know when the monies are coming?
No, we haven't got any. So the High Commissioner wrote to my outfit acknowledging our petition.
Right.
But she said she was going to get to Accra to get back to her. She hasn't yet reached out. The last time I saw was the interview she granted to the master students that visited her. We have taken the step further to petition the UK Prime Minister. All we are requesting is that we have also petitioned the Speaker of the UK Parliament. We have petitioned the Mayor of London. And we are also aiming to go to the BBC to narrate some of the...
You're really going far. You're really pushing.
Yeah, because the reality is that I am at the receiving end of everything. Because if only you can see my phone, I sleep 3 a.m., I wake up to dozens of messages, emails, text messages, and very depressing, messages from students, how they are living. Somebody even got kicked out of his house, and then he has a video how his things were outside. And you can imagine it's very, very cold at this moment in the UK. And so we have to do something. It's not our intention to embarrass anybody or do anything. In fact, I am even more concerned about the implication, because you don't know which party I belong to.
Sure.
I'm even more concerned about the implication of this, not just for the government, but also for the future of the scholarship itself and the people who may potentially be, giving this particular scholarship. So we are petitioning these people, and we wanted them to use their relationship they have with the president of Ghana, so that, because it appears that at this moment, if we are dealing with the other stakeholders, it appears everybody is trying to shift the goalposts and play politics. So the best way is for the president to intervene, because these are Ghanaians, these are, Ghanaian students. They cut across various political parties. So I don't see where the challenges is really.
Right.
We just have to address it head on and then move forward. Nobody wants to embarrass the government. We know that they came to meet this liability. So it would be unfair for anybody to even try to behave as though
to use that,
the problem was occasioned by them. No, that would not be very fair to them.
Right, Prince, thank you very much for speaking to us this afternoon and letting us understand the situation on the ground. We wish you the very best. So Prince Komala Bansah is president of the Ghana PhD cohort in the UK, sharing with us, some of the troubling situation with some of his colleagues in the UK regarding the stipends, regarding their scholarships. Some have been evicted. He mentioned that one of them has been deported to Ghana, and many others are at the risk of that. And so they have petitioned the UK Prime Minister, the Speaker of the UK Parliament, the Mayor of London, and many others, to make sure that this is fast-tracked. There's a way that this issue can be resolved as soon as possible. And we're hoping to speak to Dr. Kingsley Agyemang, but unfortunately, we wouldn't be able to speak to him now. We've not been able to reach him yet, and so we're going to continue with that. But if you have any experience with that, you can share with us on our social media handles at Metro TV Ghana on all platforms. Your friends in the UK who are suffering with this particular ordeal, you can share with us also on there. Now, the next conversation that we will be having is about the the government of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, who's coming for a second term, and this was after the polls were held last year, December 7, where there was a handsome victory for him that kicked out the NPP government and bringing in the NDC. Well, of course, as part of their campaign, one of the flagship programs was the 24-hour economy and a number of things that the party mentioned. Well, they're in power now, and we want to assess from the time the election was held to the declaration to 1 year in office what the thoughts of our experts that we'll be speaking to are on the governance so far of His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama. So let's get into that. So you see that those are some excerpts from last year's election, and let's listen to that. When we come back, we talk to our guest. Right, so let's engage Dr. Jonathan Asante-Okyere. He's a political analyst and the executive director of the African Institute of Strategic Studies, and also will be engaging Elvis Coker later on the show. Dr. Asante-Okyere, good afternoon. Thank you very much for your time here on Good Afternoon Ghana.
Good afternoon, Faden, and good afternoon to your viewers.
Right, last year, December 7.
And let me say that you're looking good.
Thank you very much, Dr. Asante-Okyere. And last year, December 7, I am sure you joined us here for the coverage, and also we engaged you a number of times. 1 year on, what do you make of the electoral process and all that have happened after into the governance of the NDC led by His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama?
Well, I'll start by saying that in terms of the electoral process, we still have a long way to go.
Right.
The process itself has not been much of a problem or a difficulty. The main problem has been coalition. And I believe that the EU observers in the 2020 elections, gave such an example that we expected EC to improve on that. Unfortunately, that is not what we saw in the 2024 elections. It's as if delayed coalition had become the order of the day, and that in itself could easily have plunged this country into some kind of electoral chaos. That being said, so far, if you look at where we have come from as a nation and where we find ourselves, I think that if you are to do a comparative analysis, of course, we cannot say everything in vacuum by suggesting that the current government has done so well. It will have to be based upon that which was inherited and how they've been able to turn around, in terms of governance, in terms of the economy. And we all know that in any economy, about 4 indicators, which are government policies that tend to affect all and sundry in any economy. The first one, you can talk about inflation. In our part of the world, you have to talk about the cedi to the major currencies in terms of the exchange rate. You will have to talk about interest rate, because that is supposed to ensure that in terms of those who are in the private space will get opportunity to create more jobs for the teeming youth. And then finally, debt to GDP ratio. Now, if you look at the current indicators, they have by far improved based upon the previous example in terms of the previous government. And that is the more reason why fundamentally we are seeing some kind of stability within the economy. We are seeing growth, especially in the agri sector, which is the productive sector of the economy. And we are seeing stability in terms of energy, right? And then in terms of managerial scale, we are seeing that from the finance ministry. And so for me, if you look at these three ministries, I think these 3 ministries have been the top performing ministries within the country. The agri sector, the energy, and then that of the finance. And so I don't know which one is to come first, but in terms of productivity, it is very important because I always say that nobody eats and complains of hunger. And hunger in itself is detrimental, right, to livelihood. And so once you have this kind of food glut here and there, we need to look at managerial aspect of it. But it is a good sign that their policies are yielding the right result.
Doc,
that being said,
No, I was just going to ask that looking at the percentage in terms of the votes that was given in terms of the electors coming out and voting for Dr. I beg your pardon, President John Dramani Mahama. So far, has it been justified by his governance that indeed the people wanted you and this is what you're doing for them?
The justification is even seen in the by-elections and then the other, like, what is it called? Ablekuma, is it North or Central?
Yeah, the rerun.
The rerun. And then, look, Pandai, they are jittery. Now, it is not about getting over 1.70 million. It's about how you are governing and how people are giving you extra mandate. I said that when I was in London, the Ablekuma Central, that if the EC expands the rerun, the areas that we're going to do rerunning, the NDC was going to win. I said that in July, and they won. Akotia, I looked at the economic conditions. Look, most often than not, what central government does influences, it will influence the microeconomy of those areas. So Akotia, of course, is part of Ghana. Ablekuma Center is part of Ghana. And what were the economic indicators were they seeing? They were seeing reduction in transport fare. They were seeing reduction in the fuel that they were buying in terms of the pricing. They were seeing the cedi appreciating against the dollar. All of this culminating in the growth of the economy. Since they are, I always say that no individual is irrational. Every human being is rational, whether educated or not educated. And so based upon these indicators and the leadership that the central government was providing, there was no way the MPP was going to win Ablekuma Central and that of Akweche. I said that on TV3, and I'm saying that again. And Pandai is also another. I feel pity for the honorable, But if all is said and done, if they are supposed to go for a by-election there, that in itself will also be a Herculean task for the MPP. And so the measurement, the fact is that the confidence that they reposed in the NDC, I don't think it has whittled. Of course, they have issues of Galamsey. People are complaining about Galamsey. It is work in progress. They will still have to do more because it could easily be an albatross around their neck. And suddenly, if human beings cannot get water to drink, obviously it will affect food production. And if it does, all the good things, all the economic indicators that you are seeing today will not in any way attract the human mind because the survival depends on water.
All right, Dr. Santiochi, kindly hold on and let's engage Dr. Elvis Koka. He's Regional Director for Research for MASWOC in the Ashanti region. Good afternoon, Dr. Koka. Thank you for your time here.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Great. Doc, same
Please,
question.
can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Same question to you. 1 year after the election, your thoughts about how things have been run so far by the NDC government led by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama.
Okay, thank you very much. We are all aware there have been key policy initiatives and policy directions and interventions that the government has kind of bring forth between January 7th to date. And example is a big push, future initiatives, the distribution of sanitary pad, the uncapping of GEFAN, the Jumeirah policies, and all these policies in one way or the other has kind of triggered a certain economic and social dimension that has improved the livelihood of Ghanaian citizens. Looking at the perspective of where we find ourselves from 2024 to date, you realize that there has been a shift. And indeed, if you look at what is trickling down, when you speak to people, ordinary Ghanaians, taxi drivers, street leaders, you realize that there is some improvements in their livelihoods. People are very comfortable with how things are flowing. 24-hour economy with all the initiatives are pumping up. Now, you realize that, again, when these district assembly common fund was initiated, and therefore this time around, the first, second quarter is in a lot of projects like schools, ship compounds, sanitation areas, markets, etc., 24-hour markets, and all that is in force. So you realize that gradually, we are feeling better, and things are improving.
Looking at the election itself, as it was held last year, and even after President Mahama came in, there have been a number of by-elections. There have been a number of, there's been a rerun. In fact, we're going to see another one. Questions about security when it comes to the electoral process and all of that. What is your take about it? Some say that what we saw at the Ablekuma Central and Akwete and all these other places, it left much to be desired in terms of electoral processes and security around it.
Yeah, that is very true. Every election that is being run in the country, security is very paramount. And I believe that, especially we going into a by-election, possibly the third time in over the last year or so, security will be very paramount, because the atmosphere now, if you look at the sub-Saharan Africa, where issues of terrorism and security issues are definitely of interest. So I believe that the security service, those who matter, should take upon themselves to initiate better models that this time around will be able to curb unforeseen circumstances that we actually witness in Akwete. And I believe that our security service, being mined by the ministries and the presidency, would all come together, all stakeholders would inform what we are supposed to do to make sure that things are being done. And you realize that when it comes to elections, it's a matter of who wins and who loses. So stakes are high. People are obviously going to do things beyond their limit to be able to push for the win. And in so doing, I believe that a little chaos will come up, and the security service must stand up for these unforeseen circumstances so that they can handle that scenario comfortably.
Right. Dr. Santiotri, I'm taking a look at the campaign or the manifesto by the NDC into the election last year. And of course, we know what they were talking about was resetting the economy and creating prosperity for all. So they say that the topmost priority of the next NDC government will be to implement the following measures, among others: reduce hardships, ensure macroeconomic stability, restore fiscal and debt sustainability, restore investor confidence, prioritize investments in productive sectors for sustainable economic growth and decent jobs. And they say they scrap the following draconian taxes, as we've had the e-levy, the COVID levy, 10% levy on bet winnings, emissions levy, imports duty on vehicles and equipment imported into the country for industrial and agricultural purposes. So their campaign was hinged or based on what the NPP government had been doing over the years that they thought had put Ghanaians in a lot of hardship. And so they said we're going to reset the economy with all of these things that they had mentioned. Hasn't worked.
Yeah, I think that all the list that you gave, I think they've ticked all these boxes, with the exception of creation of jobs. But you could see that the current budget that was read in Parliament by Honorable Finance Minister indicated that the decision is now to create more jobs. So this particular budget is earmarked towards the creation of jobs. And of course, you will see that in the big push, all right, on capping GET Fund and then NHIL, obviously will create a situation where these institutions will have access to their funds to be able to execute the project that are earmarked for these sectors. Apart from that, you see the trend, they have changed the narrative with respect to the is it DAF, District Assembly Common Fund, right? That has sent, they have changed the trajectory. Now the money goes directly to these assemblies so that they know the project that the community, the district really need. And it's not somebody in Accra directing that ABC and D ought to be done. So these have ensured that there is that growth. Now, e-levy is gone. COVID levy is gone. Now, they have also realigned the VAT tax. Now, even the threshold from 250,000 or so to 200 to 750,000. So it means that a lot more businesses who hover around figures from 250 or 200,000 to about 749,000, all of these businesses will be excluded from the VAT. So in all of this, obviously, this is to ensure there is that growth. Don't forget that the policy rate that has come down, the commercial banks are equally going to reduce their interest rate. And once that thing is done, it means that they will be making funds available to private individuals to be able to get loans at cheaper rate and be able to expand the economy.
Right.
So once the economy is expanded, it means that naturally jobs will be created. Don't forget that the Statistical Service also made us aware that the unemployment rate had reduced from 14.7 to 13 point something. But obviously the youth, there's still that joblessness around that particular part.
Dr. Sanchotre,
we have to work at.
We've got to wrap this up. In the next 1 minute, I want you to touch on this because it's a very important part of last year's electoral process. Now, Kodeo reported that 6 people were killed during the 2024 election, and there were separate events or incidents, about 76 of them, that happened during the election. 1 year on, have we done good in terms of investigation, in terms of holding people accountable for some of these disturbances that happened last year? Quickly.
Yeah, but that is not good enough. It's as if what is said in the local parlance, as it's not free. To it, once the elections are over, you think that everything is done. No, I am of the view that those who have even sent petitions against the electoral commissioners, those petitions should be ignored. I believe that the government should set up an independent, forensic audit to be done at the Electoral Commission. 2, after that, they should set up a commission of inquiry. Now, this commission of inquiry can now invite everybody who has evidence to that effect to bring them and testify, including the commissioners themselves. Based upon that, we'll be able to come out with a full bouquet of the problems that have beset our electoral processes and to have proper solution. Once that thing is done, nobody will tell the commissioners to resign because the evidence against them will be so overwhelming. Don't also forget that Imani Africa have always helped into our years of procurement breaches, right, that have happened at the Electoral Commission. And we seem to have glossed our eyes over it just because the elections are over. I think that the EC's outfit, there is the need for that overhauling. We need to detach those who are partisan, from its apparatus and its activities. It is that which is very important for the sanctity, right, and integrity of the next election.
Right.
That for me is something that the state must not ignore.
Dr. Asante-Okyere, thank you very much for your time. Dr. Jonathan Asante-Okyere is a political analyst and the executive director for the African Institute for Strategic Studies. We still have Dr. Elvis Coker on. Let me take his final thoughts also, and then we wrap up. Dr. Coker, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Right. So wrapping up on this, same question about the violence that took place during the elections. We definitely haven't done any better with that, with investigating that.
Yeah, I think there have been reports which are documented about these kind of election violence. But as you said, the actions thereof to be taken is not seen as of now. I believe that sometimes these things take time, but the ministry in charge of Interior Defense and all the security services who are mandated to take charge of elections, violence, and other related matters should step up their game so that at least corporates who are involved will be dealt with so that to serve as deterrent for others who one day or one time will want to involve themselves in that. In this, by saying that, I say that kudos to those involved, and we are all hoping that the elections and elections directorates who are in charge of elections in Ghana will also step up their game as we go into possibly another by-elections. Right. Thank you very much for your time. Dr. Elvis Coker. So he's rather the Director of Research for the NDC in the Ashanti region. Director of Research for the NDC in the Ashanti region. So you heard from Dr. Elvis Coker and also Dr. Jonathan Asante-Okyere. What are your thoughts also from last year? Where were you? Did you partake in the electoral process? Share with us on our social media handles, Metro TV Ghana, also on our, that is X, Metro TV G8, and also on TikTok. We're taking a break now. When we come back, we're talking about communication, very, very important one that a lot of us need to understand. We're talking about fragmented communication. So stay with us. We'll be back shortly. This is Good Afternoon, Ghana.
Christmas, Cartus Agri Limited is bringing you freshness, flavor, and festive joy straight to your home and office. Right here in Accra, Kumasi, Cape Coast, and Takoradi. Cartus Agri, your number one poultry plug. Fresh birds, sweet eggs, delivered with love. Get ready for our juicy Midofopa package. You get 1 broiler, 1 layer, 2 crates of eggs, plus our special chicken spices. All for only 450 Ghana cedis. Midofopa, sweet value for you. Or go big with our Coco Bolobo package. That is 2 broilers, 2 layers, 2 crates of eggs, and chicken spices. Just for 800 Ghana cedis. A Coco Bolobo. More chicken, more joy. And for families and corporate bodies ready to feast, try our Odon Sada package. 3 broilers, 3 layers, 3 crates of eggs, plus spices for only 1,200 Ghana cedis. Order now, enjoy more. And the best part is, corporate orders come with free delivery. Terms and conditions apply. Call us now. 0558 376127 or 0241 674268 or 020-331-5557. This Christmas, choose Cartus Agri Limited. Cartus Agri Limited. Freshness you can trust.
Kwame and his uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame. As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, Mommy.
The second coming. Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again? Now I understand the whole delay. Troll from Kaswa. Why wouldn't he be late? Or being late, of course.
Coffee be the luckiest. Coffee from Georgia be luckiest. From not the block, she be luckiest. Yeah, you coffee be luckiest. No matter why you're lucky. Everybody go be that luckiest.
That Kwame!
Send your goddamn boom! If you put it so would the coming of the son of man be. Is that his car?
Ha! Even now, your shadow the way designer.
I use my own mouth to reject him. Oh, this is my mouth. Look at that.
Kwame, my son. Now, tell me the truth. How did this all happen?
Oh, mommy, simple direction. Mr. Goodluck no check me well.
Yeah,
man. Easy car. Or dial *712#.
The devil is a liar.
He picked his ticket and entered his lucky 5-digit number.
How much baby?
Oh, how romantic.
And he followed the prompt, yes. And then boom, confirmation test.
One quick, pick 5 numbers for me, okay? I'm feeling like 7.
Dial *712#. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompt and let destiny handle the
You see how they love you now?
Yo, do you have family permission? Before December, may release a motivational album. Patapa, my super.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
It's happening this December. It's the biggest, the largest, the Bushels Jollof Party Festival. It is the Metro Jollof Festival happening on Saturday, 20th December 2025 at the forecourt of Metro TV. It is an all-day event with opportunity for exhibitors to sell this
Right, so welcome back for the break. You so much good afternoon, Ghana here. I am Desmond Okrekodan. So we'll get into our final conversation for the afternoon, a very important one. It's regarding communication. And we're talking about the hidden cost of fragmented messages. And our guest is Cain Mani, co-founder and CEO of Dodo Technologies. He's joined us here in studio for this conversation. Cain, welcome to the program. How are you doing?
Thank you so much. I'm doing well. And yourself?
Yeah, I'm okay. Good to see you. So I saw fragmented messages. I mean, we send the message out or the flyer out, and people would ask, what is that? Fragmented messages. Talk to us about that.
Yes. So fragmented communication simply means that having or using different tools to communicate across board.
Mm-hmm.
So if you take every company in this world, it uses different set of tools to communicate. So there are 3 core forms of communication that happens in companies.
Right.
So there is the internal communication, what happens between the teams or the employees within the company, and there is the external communication, what happens with those who are outside the company. So partners, customers, stakeholders who want to talk to those inside the company. And there are public interactions. People who go to your social media, who go to your website. Now, if you look at what currently exists in the world, if you take internal communication, companies use different set of tools. So some will use like Teams, Slack, and WhatsApp, all to communicate among themselves. Others too will use different set of tools to communicate externally. So what happens is that there is a separation in the communication.
Okay.
So internal communication sits on different set of tools, external sits on different set of tools, and public sits on different set of tools. Now, when that happens, there is data fragmentation. So all of that can unify and give you insight into what's happening within your organization. That's what I mean by fragmented communication.
And with this that you're sharing with us, do these businesses, do they understand what that is?
Yeah, so we are creating a lot of awareness to let companies understand that. Because last year, globally, companies lost about $1.2 trillion in fragmented communication alone. Because a customer would have a problem. So say I go to a place to go and eat and I have a challenge. I can text their WhatsApp number, but the owner doesn't know what is happening if he or she doesn't have that contact. So the message doesn't reach him or her. The same way with, like, financial institutions, same with all those other engagements. So the customer loses interest in that. But if the owner knew how these were happening, they could act upon it. And that's why we have a solution that solves all of this problem for the companies.
And if all of these are fragmented, as we were saying, you know, different tools and all that, I'm definitely sure it comes at a bigger cost.
Yeah, so that is the amazing thing about it. It doesn't come at a bigger cost at all.
Really?
Because what we have done is that we built 4 key tools. So we have Dodo Workplace.
No, I wasn't even referring to Dodo yet.
Okay.
I'm talking about the company still using all of those different means,
tools. So it costs them to use the different tools because they are all different tools and their cost is different. And also it also costs them with their business as well. So it costs you to use them and it also costs you to have them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you come in here?
Yes, so about almost 2 years ago, we had the same problem. So there's another company I ran, and we had the same problem where we noticed that all our data is scattered. We couldn't find information, and people leave, we don't know where all of that. It created a huge issue. So we decided to create a technology that would unify all communication into a single intelligent platform. Now, what we did was to create Dodo Workplace for internal communication, create Dodo Messenger for external communication, and create Dodo Widget for public interactions on your website. When we did that, we now noticed that we brought all your data together. However, data sitting on a server or sitting unprocessed become waste. So we now built an AI technology called NIA to process all of that data. So it interprets it for you and give you real insights into what's happening with your team, with your customers, with the public, so you can make informed decisions about the direction of the business, what's happening with you, and all of that, which currently doesn't exist anywhere in the world.
Really?
Yes.
And if you're trying to grow your customer base or your audience, and you're using these, wouldn't you rather say that, well, we're trying all different avenues, you know, to be able to interact or to be able to do these things?
Yeah.
Is that not also one that...
So you see, the customers themselves even want a direct source to engage the company.
Really?
Because they would want to dial
different numbers?
Exactly,
Okay.
different numbers. And they may not even get answer to what they want. They may not even reach out to get all the details of the things that they want. And also, you see, for the customer, currently, there are 3 categories of engagement in terms of messaging that the world is looking out for. But there are only 2 categories that have been answered now. So we have WhatsApp for family and friends, we have Telegram for broadcasting and all of that. Now there's a 3rd category called commercial messaging.
Commercial messaging.
Where customers need to interact with people they deal with in their everyday commercial life. So their banks, their hospitals, their pharmacies, all of that. They don't need to have them sitting on their WhatsApp or other platforms. Should they lose out on all of that, they lose out all the information. So to the customer, Dodo is bringing a lot of value that enables them to directly engage with the businesses that they do every day and get direct access and not have fragmented communication using different tools, different phone numbers. You have to dial a toll number, you have to send an email. It's too burdensome for the customer. Yes.
With that also, there's conversation about security.
Yes.
To information to these apps. So if you use the same password for all the apps, as you say, in order for it not to be fragmented, so everything is put in line as one. Using the same password for all of these, are we not at risk, you know, to getting hacked?
Yes. So there are two dynamics of the Dodo platform.
Okay.
So we have the enterprise and we have the consumer.
Right.
So for the enterprise, the companies own the master password. So employees can sign up and use it with their password they've created themselves. But there's a key master access that is owned by the company themselves. Now, on the consumer side, they just have to use their phone number and log in. So it doesn't interlock or each other. But at the back end is where there's a centralized knowledge base. Now to speak about data, what we have done with this, and the amazing thing is that one of the key things that Africa needs is data sovereignty. All of us we run on the servers that sits somewhere in the Western world we have no access to. So all our data on our WhatsApp, our emails are all sitting in foreign land. Whatever they do with the data to train the AI models, to train themselves, we have no idea about it. Now, what Dodo has done is that we have built everything on Dodo locally. So there is Dodo AI, Dodo Messenger, all sitting on our local infrastructure, which we've partnered key companies to enable that happen.
Okay.
So we don't have any data of any company sitting anywhere in the West that will be used by people that we don't have direct access to and all of that. And all the technologies inside Dodo, from the AI models to the AI infrastructure, to the messaging service, the video call, the voice call, the security tools, were all built locally by us here to enable that control for everything we are doing. And because it's a global solution, we want to show the world that things won't come from the West only that we will consume. We will not just consume things, but we also will create things. So we are building things here that the world will consume. So we have customers from the US, customers in Russia, customers in Portugal, customers in Nigeria, all using the Dodo platform currently.
You talk about AI a lot in your submission.
Yeah.
How important is that in what you're doing?
Yeah, so it is very critical because AI runs on data.
Okay.
Now, everything Dodo has built is communication. And communication generates trillions of data. Now, all this data has to be processed. And that's how we're able to let you have actionable insights. Unlike other AI technologies that rely on external data or already available public data, we generate the data ourselves because customers are interacting, employees, all of that. So we have access to a lot of data. So we build everything to enable all our data coming into our pool to be processed. And what we also want to do is that, you see, there have been 3 key shifts in technology since the age of digital.
Okay.
So there's been the internet shift, which birthed internet banking and e-commerce and all of that. And the mobile shift came, which birthed the iPhone, the Android, which birthed bank apps, mobile apps, and all of that. The third shift is the AI shift. Now, all of these 2 previous shifts, Africa didn't own anything. And we are saying that from all the technology we have built in communications and AI, we want Africa to be at the forefront of this for ourselves. That we don't have to rely on Western technology, Western infrastructure to enable this for a continent of 1.3 billion people. So everything is in sync with what we are currently doing. And that's why we are doing the Dodo Summits.
Right, so we're still talking to King Mani. He's CEO for Dodo Technology, sharing with us some of the things that they are working on. One of the things that a lot of people do, I compliment myself included, is when you're trying to get something and then you send messages and then you're not having responses. Yeah. How are you dealing with that with your technology?
Yeah, so once you download or have access to Dodo Messenger, easily you can have access to the company that are on the platform. So you're able to skip all the loops and all the waiting times, everything, and get direct access.
Okay.
And you also have Dodo Nia, so which is the agentic technology. So it also does everything for you seamlessly inside it.
Okay.
Yeah. So what we are doing is that to create all of this awareness and let people understand the value of Dodo, and also to solve the problem of fragmented communication, which is our core goal at Scale, we are organizing the Dodo Summits, which is the technology conference by Dodo, just this Wednesday at the UPSA Auditorium. Yes, where we are bringing investors, we are bringing partners, we are bringing all of our partners, and the general public to learn about communication, AI, and how to solve the problem of fragmented communication in there. We also have the Honorable Sam George as our special guest speaker for the summit.
Right.
And we have over 1,000 people who are registered for the summit. There are a lot of people who want to know about how communication is solved, like fragmented communication is solved, how the future of AI is based in there. So a lot of announcements we'll be doing. We have a Dodo email, which is our own email service that we are launching. So people don't use external emails, foreign emails anymore. We have the Dodo browser as well that we're also launching. We have an AI cluster that we are building for the entire continent, valued at $200 million. So all our partners who are enabling that to happen are coming there to the summit. So what we're saying is that this age, We want to own the things we build. We don't want to consume foreign technology forever. We need to own these things and build these things and scale them whilst we are solving core problems that the world is facing.
I'm going to ask a question that, is it to play the devil's advocate or to try and get you to say something? Well, as you say, oh, it's from Ghana, it's ours. A lot of us still have a notion that, oh, from Ghana, the quality, you know, all of those things. What do you have to say about that?
So that is a perception that is not true. Because whatever is being built here can be used globally. Like all these apps we all use, all these services we all use, they built it for the world. They are not smarter than us, they're not different than us, they're not better than us. It's just a perception. And that's why we are taking out that perception that we can be here in Ghana here and build technology that change the world. World-class, equally bigger and better technologies at scale that change the world, that put Ghana on the map. And that's why all the things we are doing, we are announcing on Wednesday at the UPC auditorium. So everybody should be there. All you do is go to www.usedodo.com, usedodo.com, and register to be part of the summit. It's from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And we are unveiling all these amazing technologies and email service, a browser, commerce, AI cluster, AI service, all the global things built right here in Ghana.
I love the idea. So now that you've talked so much about it and we're excited to come, how do businesses get to be part? How do individuals, you talked about the website, do we just go, is it free? How do we get to be a part of this day long, from morning to evening summit?
So it's what we call a day with Dodo. So come and let's, it's a tech festival. Let's enjoy tech. So companies can call us. As on the site, our contact is 0536 963 978. 0536 963 978. And every company should be at the summit because communication is the bedrock, is the engine of companies. If you lose out on communication, you lose out on data, you lose out on business. And our technology is so fragmented communication at scale for every company in the world.
Right. Just some other questions. As you're in the tech space, in the social media space, what do you make of the kind of things that we're seeing on our online apps, on these apps, where you find young people writing certain things, lots of concern about the kind of things that these apps are being used for. We know in other countries, like in Australia, and the 16-year-olds are not being allowed to get into some apps and all that. Is that something that we need to start thinking of as a country?
Yeah, so I think there should be regulation. I think the things we consume, we need to regulate the things we consume. And you see, that's bringing back to the fact that we don't own these technologies. Because for us to do that, we need to engage with these companies that own these technologies. And to them, it is a numbers game. If they're getting 1 billion visits every day, it is business for them. But if we own these technologies, if we build this ourselves, we could put in practical measures that enable this. Because the consumption now is way too ugly. And we need to have measures that enable all of these controls. Other than that, people will see things or people will learn things or people will be consumed with things that they shouldn't be at a tender age. Because now this is democratized. People can have access to anything at any time. Just get a smartphone and the world is in your hands. So we need to do this. It's very critical.
People are using these platforms also to scam others and doing all sorts of things. I know the police is doing a lot with that. They arrested some group of young men who created pages scamming people and all that. So I think we can get better, but we really need to. For me, TikTok now. Anyway,
you see, the bedrock is we need to own the technologies because for them it is a business. No matter what you say, once they're getting the numbers and it works for them, and they have the power. We need to make sure that homegrown technology, homegrown innovations are championed. so that we don't have to rely on these technologies and be dictated to as to what to do with it.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ken, for coming through. We appreciate you coming in and speaking to us about the cost of fragmented messages. So, guys, this is where we wrap up the show for today. It's been an exciting one. We began talking about the Scholarship Secretariat and what's happening there, the responses from Ghana's High Commissioner to the UK, Sabazita Benson, Dr. Kingsley Ajimang, the MP for Ibako South, and former registrar for the Scholarship Secretariat. Also speaking there, we spoke to Prince Komala Bansa, who is president for the Ghana PhD cohorts in the UK. They are calling on the PM of the Prime Minister of the UK, the Mayor of London, the Speaker of the UK Parliament to intervene, of course, to President Mahama to intervene in their situation. One of their colleagues have already been deported, and a number of them are also sleeping outside already, homeless, moving around, and that's not a situation that we want to see. So we spoke to him, he gave us some updates on that, and of course we talked about December 7, that was yesterday, 1 year on, how things have been so far under the leadership of President John Dramani Mahama. You heard from Dr. Jonathan Asante-Ottare and also Dr. Elvis Coker. That's it for the show as we wrap up with Kane Mani of Dodo Technologies. That's it for the show. Many thanks for joining us. Do log on to our website, www.metrotvonline.com for more news. But on the 20th of December, right here on our premises, is the Metro TV Jollof Festival. Come eat jollof for free. Come and enjoy different taste of jollof. Come see me cook you some nice meal of jollof that I'll eat alone because I can't eat that by myself. Many thanks for joining us. We're back tomorrow with Business Edge with Emmanuel Kwesi. If you enjoy the rest of our programs, bye-bye.
God is for us, who can be against us? Come join us, count our blessings, for the Lord has been good. It's the Josport Zoomlion Annual Thanksgiving Service 2025, brought to you in collaboration with PRWC Trasaco, E-Church of the Church of Pentecost, and the Central Mosque. It's a moment of reflection and gratitude to God, with our fathers of the faith, such as Apostle Dr. Dela Kwampa, Bishop Emeritus Jemsa, Reverend Eastwood Anaba, and the host, Elder Dr. Joseph Senwe Japan. This is coming off on the 8th to 12th December 2025 across all designated centers nationwide, starting at 6 a.m. each morning. You can participate via our online platforms at Zoomlion Limited and Josport Group on Facebook and YouTube. Media partners, Metro TV, Pent Media Center, Original TV and Original FM. Don't be left out.
It's happening this December. It's the biggest, the largest, the Boshills Jollof Party Festival. It is the Metro Jollof Festival happening on Saturday, 20th December 2025 at the forecourt of Metro TV. It is an all-day event with opportunity for exhibitors to sell this
This Christmas, Cattle's Agri Limited is bringing you freshness, flavor, and festive joy straight to your home and office. Right here in Accra, Kumasi, Cape Coast, and Takoradi. Cattle's Agri, your number one poultry plug. Fresh birds, sweet eggs, delivered with love. Get ready for our juicy Midofopa package. You get 1 broiler, 1 layer, 2 crates of eggs, plus our special chicken spices, all for only 450 Ghana cedis. Midofopa, sweet value for you. Or go big with our Coco Bolobo package. That is 2 broilers, 2 layers, 2 crates of eggs, and chicken spices, just for 800 Ghana cedis. A Coco Bolobo. More chicken, more joy. And for families and corporate bodies ready to feast, try our Odon Sada package. 3 broilers, 3 layers, 3 crates of eggs, plus spices for only 1,200 Ghana cedis. Order now, enjoy more. And the best part is, corporate orders come with free delivery. Terms and conditions apply. Call us now. 0558 376127 or 0241 674268 or 020 331 5557. This Christmas, choose Cartoons Agri Limited. Cartoons Agri Limited. Freshness you can trust.
The biggest cultural explosion of the year is here. The Afro-Brazil-Ghana Festival 2025. December 12th and 13th at the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park and Mausoleum. It's coming alive with 2 unforgettable days of culture, food, fashion, and music. Enjoy electrifying performances from Fancy Gadam, Adam, Go Get 'Em Episode, Wiyala, Amanziba, Big Twins African Music, and Dance Ensemble. Simon from Burkina Faso. And representing Brazil, Aline Crew. This historic festival is organized by Big Twins African Music and Dance Ensemble in collaboration with the Embassy of the Federated Republic of Brazil in Accra, supported by Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts, Ghana Tourism Authority.
From finding your dream home to building a legacy for your family, the Homeowner Show has been your trusted guide.
How sure are you what you are getting is the right land? And it has to do with search.